Welcome back to the DNA Pest Control Podcast Q&A sesh.
We made it to the end of the month.
We made it to the end of the month.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it was a good one. It was a surprisingly busy month too.
Oh, yeah.
Which is actually very surprising for February.
Typically, because we take the dips. I hope everybody else was as busy as we were. It's been insane.
Yeah, it's been really good. It's been awesome. But also, apart from the pest control, we've been really busy with the podcast. Mm-hmm. So, and thank you guys for sending in questions for this Q&A. It is always good to get questions for the Q&A. So keep that up. Throw questions out there. These ones actually fall in line really well with what we've been talking about, which has been a lot about business, culture, goals, getting the year started. So it's been really good. And so these ones, both of these questions fall right in line with the business side of things. And so we'll jump right in. We'll get right to it. This one was actually sent to us through an email, so our Gmail, so DNA Pest Podcast. And what he says is, I've started my pest control company. I have a truck, I have my backpack, I have my chemicals. I've had 17 orthopedic surgeries, a hernia, and an active brain tumor, but it's shrinking. Hey, and I want to say congratulations. I hope it goes away.
Yes.
My orthopedic says I need my knee replaced within a year. I'm still going. Good job. You can't let work stop. Do we want to break these up? Because it is longer.
Let's do that on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think in the past we've ran through the whole thing and backtracked, but let's take it piece by piece.
Okay. So what are you thinking?
Well, starting off, sounds like he's committed.
Very committed.
Yes.
Very committed.
Maybe a little bit stubborn.
Yeah.
I don't want to say stop or quit, but change or adapt or try different things that are a little bit easier and more sustaining for you, because it sounds like that you're replacing a part of yourself and continuing to push on, and it's worked and here you are, and now you have all these stats of all the things that you've gone through, all the things that you've done on top of like running a business.
Yeah. I mean, he does say 58 years old, he's starting a business, which if anyone's done any research on any of the really longevity, wealthy people, most of them aren't making a ton of money until they're later in years. So, 58 shouldn't push anyone in another direction as long as you're willing to learn, as long as you're willing to stay back. But yeah, you're right. Where you're at, my friend, in this stage with everything that's going on health-wise, body-wise, your brain is still working. And I've told so many people that, like, I look at that and say, your brain is working, your body eventually won't be, but your brain can still keep going. So your body's breaking down. If you are going in this, and I haven't gotten to the question part, but use your head. Don't use your body. Your body's done, and that's okay. You used it, but now use your head. Take this time to use your head. Get somebody who's young to use their body.
Yeah.
Right? Going on, I started in 96 with the big O as a sales guy. I moved into service management 2 years after that and was a service manager in a commercial division. I was hired as a service manager for the big T, then worked for several companies since that time period. Good experience. Mm-hmm. I work full-time on the weekends, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and Tuesday and Thursday, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. I have insurance through that company I work for, and now I've started my pest control business. Okay. He is now saying, what would be your main statement to me? Don't say quit my main job, but what point should I jump into the business full time? I'm going to let you go, Aaron. Have at it.
All right. I mean, sounds like you almost answered that in a way. We've talked about, where are you putting the eggs in the basket? where are you putting your attention and focus? I know that the full-time, you said it was a full-time job on the weekends and then a couple days during the week, is giving you the insurance, it's giving you the nest egg to pay bills. But in the time that you're not working, which is, I'm assuming, physically demanding, because you were saying it's 7 to 7 and then 3 to like 11.
Yeah, so 7 hours or 8 hours those days, and then 12 hours the other days. Yeah, so
you know, and then on top of whatever you're doing on the side for, that's a lot for anybody if they're not managing their time or their, resources correctly.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm almost curious to see is what do the other days look like when you're running your business? Does running your business mean you're just pounding through accounts? Does it mean you're selling? Does it mean you're, I'm curious as to know what are you doing in the times that you're not, working that full-time job with those benefits, and maybe that's where the priorities need to shift.
Yeah. I mean, my statement for you, likewise, I have a ton of questions, but my main statement would be you're not jumping until your business is providing enough to take care of you. Right? I mean, whatever you're making, we'll go simple math. You make $1,000 a month. That's what you live off of. Your business needs to be producing $1,000 a month, right? Simple as that. Now, the great thing is, which I would go back and say, don't do it. Why don't you hire someone right now? You have a job. Stick with it. You're doing Saturday, Sunday. Perfect. Most people aren't working those days anyway. So you have the weekend to work, make your money personally. And then you have Monday or Tuesday or whatever the other days were that you have off. It's why don't you go out and sell, and you have a technician that you hire on to run those appointments for you. And then he can be generating money for you Monday to Friday, and he'll have a full-time job. Yeah, you're going to be paying him literally everything you're making from your business, but not from your regular job. So you're still taken care of. You still have full benefits, because there's no way I'd walk away from that.
Yeah.
You walk away from that, you now have to pay for that, unless your business is not doing enough and you can't pay yourself any money. Then, depending on where you live, you may get insurance for free, right? But you still need income. So you still have to pay for food, your house, gas, everything. But that's what I would do, is I would stick with the working side. You're already going through it. You're already putting your body through it, and you're getting all the benefits. You're doing everything on that side. I wouldn't jump until you have a technician who is running full time, producing enough to be able to take you out of it, right? To be able to say, hey, I can now go over to my main business and quit. But I would definitely do that, because there's no way you have longevity out of this.
No.
Your body no longer can handle it. But it's not impossible either. You're just choosing to go the service industry route, which is labor. Yeah. But you can still use your head. So if you're doing it smart, you could actually keep your job, keep your business, just hire a tech, hire someone, if you have a kid, who wants to do this with you, have them come on. They can run, the technician side, because you can even train the guys. You're beat up, that's fine. You still got a head. Yeah. You still can train. So I look at it that way. I don't think I would jump ship yet.
I like that, especially because you have so much relative experience. You were a service manager. You ran routes. You managed a team. It's not like you're coming in with just a bunch of capital up front and trying to start something. It's like there's a ton of relative experience that you've gone through. I know things change, but still the models that you've seen over the years, you should be able to pick and choose from some of that to help you,
Now, this is the other thing that's going to hurt.
What's that?
It's going to hurt him. Sorry. Hope he can take it at 58. you have to think about this though. Why are you doing it? Why are you starting a company right now? Why are you, and the only thing I can think of is you are breaking down, and I think you can see they're going to fire me at some point, or they're going to push me out prior to being able to retire. You know, because that's the only thing I look at is why now? Why not 18 years ago? Why not 20 years ago? Why not 30 years ago?
Better late than never. But there's got to be something that gets you to that point, like you said, whether it was some pressure that, you know, you're putting on yourself.
He has doubts.
Yeah.
He has doubts. I mean, you don't put all that stuff in there if you think you're going to be okay.
That's true.
Because, hey, I have flaws too, but I'm not going to tell you them. Not saying you're in the wrong by saying these things, because you're asking for advice. But, you know, there's a reason why you're jumping now and starting something now, because I think the light at the end of the tunnel is not a light. I think it's darkness. And he's coming up onto that darkness, and he needs to create another tunnel.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because now I'll also ask, this is a big question. Why are you creating a business? I think everybody has to ask that question. And going into pest control, what is your idea?
The why. Yeah.
Well, just because you want to work for yourself. Okay, that's a terrible idea, right? Because now you don't have one boss. You now have hundreds, if not thousands, of pricks running your company for you. And I'm not talking about employees.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the customers, the picky customers that are controlling the aspect and outcome of a lot of different situations. Right? So you think you're stepping away from a boss, but you're just getting right back underneath someone who actually has never run anything in their life, barely their own life, and now they're your boss directly.
Right.
You know, so why are you starting it? Because at 58, doing it how you're doing it, and then I guarantee you there's not a ton of money, your company can grow with the right people. I just don't think it's going to get to the point where you could sell it and retire at 65. I mean, I've known guys here started 6 years in, and they were only doing 100,000 a year, 120 a year. You know, they couldn't, it wasn't like they're getting millions when they cash out and sell.
Yeah.
You know, they pretty much got what they're making every year. That was it. Like, and he had to go and move back east and find another job. Like that was it. You know, he got moving expenses paid for, and that was it. So that would be my question is what is the reason now, before you're actually really diving in too deep in this, because you are just sucking all your time and energy by working a full-time job plus starting a company. But is that company just is it just to create another job so you can float for the next couple of years and then maybe sell it, but you're probably going to have to give it away for nothing? So you're going to put in all this time and effort to create something that's not going to be worth much.
Right.
You know, depending on how you do it, and it could be a ton, but you're also going up against a ton of pest control companies, you know, and young people who can put in even more time. Not saying that they are, because they're all lazy. But those are questions I would find out is, why are you doing it?
It's a good one to ask.
Are you trying to create something that's going to keep paying you even though you're not there, or you can be there very little? Because another thing is find a partner. I mean, you're starting it. Find a partner who can do, you know, some of it. I don't know how much the Pest Posse cares that I talk about some of these things, but they have a great partnership, right? One can do, you know, the Pest Posse while the other one has their thing, and it works out really, really well. But that's something that you got to think about. Are you able to do one thing or focus on that and still have the benefits of the other?
It's true.
Q&A always ends up with another Q&A.
I know.
So Mr. who sent in this email, and we did email you back, let us know. Let us know what's kind of going on there. Give us a little bit more background story.
Maybe what you tried, what's worked, what hasn't. If you've tried anything, you know.
Yeah. But it would be interesting to know kind of why you're doing it. and the idea behind it. All right. Anything else we want to let this guy know? Any comments? Any last words?
No.
No?
I think you hit it.
Okay. Be smart.
Yep.
Okay. The next one was a message on Instagram. He said, "Hey guys, I have been in the pest control industry here in Australia for 9 years working for a grain storage company. My job is mainly focused on bulk grain fumigation and high volume chemical application for the control of stored grain related pests, rodents, and birds. I have only just started my own company part-time, focused on residential pest control. Being in a rural area, my work radius is 150 kilometers, 93 miles. Thank you for the conversion there.
Thank you very much.
I have enjoyed the transition from the hammer approach of much larger pest control to the scalpel approach of domestic and commercial. Long story short, my plan is to phase out working for my company, my current employer, and work full-time for myself. And I just need the silver bullet advice for entry into the motel, restaurant, and commercial game. How do you market a program when your competitors just splash for cash every 6 months? If you have any advice, it would be muchly appreciated." So I'll read the last part, but cool. You're welcome. And thank you for listening.
Yes.
All right. What are you thinking? I mean, we talked a little bit about it, the apartment stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be the silver bullet?
There's a silver bullet. What's up?
You want me to go?
Go first.
What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, there's not one, because you're right. Companies are going to lowball. They're going out there. They're throwing money just to pick up a few customers here and there. They can always lowball prices. I do not think that there's necessarily a silver bullet in how can you gain a ton of customers. It's work. It's hard work, right? We're the service industry. Some industries are harder to get in than others. Okay. I'll just throw one weird one out because I don't know any companies that do it, but you're building turbines for dams. There's probably only like 2 in the US. We don't need you, right? There's not a massive need, for giant turbines to be made. So you have to realize where you're at. You're in the pest control game. You're going up against competitors. You're going up against anybody. And if I remember correctly, Australia is not that hard to get into pest control. You don't even have to work in the pest control industry to get into pest control. You just got to go take a course in class and get a license. Mm-hmm. So that makes it very difficult. So what you have to do, in my opinion, I guess this would be the only silver bullet, is where do you stand? Where's your quality of service? What's going to separate you from the next guy? We have that. Mm-hmm. We know if you get cockroaches, you get bed bugs, you have issues, we know the process to get rid of them. And we're going to take care of it. Mm-hmm. Other companies don't. They go the very lazy route. They go the cheapest way possible, thinking they're going to stay with me because I'm cheap. And the problem that you do have with that is you get what you pay for. If you're paying me $50 a service, I'm not going to do very much for you. And don't expect the world either. It's just how it is. Mm-hmm. It's with anything. Don't expect anything. You're not paying for premium service. You're not going to get the premium service.
Yeah.
Right? You pay for it. We're going to bend over backwards and make sure we're taking care of you. So that's something I learned, but that goes across the board. Residential, commercial, apartments, motels, hotels, whatever it is, you're charging them accordingly. Not too much. Don't gouge, because then you are going to lose business because it's unfair.
Right.
But also, is your work up to the standard and that price? Is the customer getting the value for it? We've all been there. We've all bought cheap stuff, right? Cheap tools, cheap cars, cheap anything.
Yeah.
And what do we get? Cheap.
Cheap.
It breaks. You have to go buy another one. It's not very good. Now, that's not in all cases, because I've also bought really expensive stuff and they've sucked. AirPods are one, right? I have them. They connect every once in a while. They're really, they do their job and they've actually lasted. Good thing is they've lasted as long as they have. My first pair did not. I had to get, luckily they were under warranty. I had to replace them. These ones, the new AirPods 2 or whatever, I had to replace those. So sometimes even too expensive isn't better necessarily. You can still run into your issues, but where are you standing there? Where's your quality? What are you doing to set yourself apart from the rest of the competition that's going to go in and throw something out there? The other benefit you have is you're a single owner. Now, this is not the best way to scale the business, but it works, is you build the relationship between you and them personally. And then they're not going to cancel because they like you, right? That's the only problem when it comes to scaling the business, because if you're not there, they're going to leave.
Yeah.
So that's where quality is so much better than even the personal side of it and gaining those clients. But in the beginning, you can gain so many personally. And as they watch you grow, you can start putting people in your place and taking yourself back, and they understand. So you have to do it very strategically, but there's not one silver bullet answer, unfortunately, for me. I can't think of one, but that's what I would say.
That's good advice. When I was listening to him, I'm thinking show, don't tell. And I know the question was based around creating a marketing program to get into these more sensitive accounts, into these more high dollar accounts.
Yeah.
And again,
true.
It's like, where's the why? What is your goal? If your goal is to grow the business in itself and then start taking those on, maybe maximizing what you're doing now in your rural area. Are you offering all of the services that apply to those areas? Are you doing, wildlife control or rodent control on top of it, so that way it's more profitable, so you can spend more time, going after some of these and taking a little bit more time away. But when you're actually talking to these places, I know we've talked about it, it's showing, it's not telling, it's not being arrogant, but it's confidence and based off of past experiences and going through these situations, right? You may have to, you could probably speak to this more than I can, but starting off brand new in this realm, you're going to have to put your neck out there a little bit, and you can't be afraid to have all the answers right away or look or sound like you don't know what you're talking about. Obviously, do the research, do your due diligence, but you have to start to gain traction.
Yeah, I guess you did hit it right. Marketing, he did say that, like, your marketing. I'm going to be honest with you. Companies in general, they don't care. They're not looking at advertisements. They're not getting pulled in or sucked in. That's why every business to business has what? A sales team. Right? They have a massive sales team, because me sending out an ad isn't going to get you to jump over.
Not an apartment complex or a hospital
or a hotel or a motel. Who's going to see that? Nobody. Not the right person.
Yeah.
Right? You get into a chain. Dude, where is that guy even living?
Where's the decision maker?
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea. So you're going to spend a lot of money to maybe get in front of somebody. Maybe. It's a big maybe, because they may not even be in your same state, at least here in the U.S., your state. They could be across the country on the other side, who's over that division. He may never even see you, have heard of you, or know who you are. So that's why I say the hard work part is crucial. Are you going in and finding who these people are? Walk in and go talk to them. Hey, I'm so-and-so. I started a pest control company. I've been in the industry X amount of years. I would love to give you a quote for this place. How can I help? Can you give me 5 minutes to give you the quote? See if I can save you some money. If not, do a better service. They say no. Cool. I'll be back in a couple months just to see.
Mm-hmm. If there's a contact.
Yeah, you just made a contact. You know, like we also live in a day and age we don't want to do the sell side of it. We don't want to do the hard part of it. Mm-hmm. You know, so going back to the other guy, you know, the older guy, he was in the sales side, so he understands that. He's an older guy, you know, he's 58. He's been around people for so long. His communication skills should be better than everybody else's. Not all the time, but should be. So he understands that you got to go into these places. You got to talk to them, right? If you're going to try to throw money at a marketing thing in hopes that it gives you a return, be prepared to spend a lot of money and get very little results back. Mm-hmm. You know, because that's what it is. That's marketing. Marketing is, I'm going to throw out this entire, you know, marketing scheme and see what happens. It comes back negative, or a picture came back negative, a picture came back positive. Great. Now I got to change it and redo it and go with that picture. But now I got to go with a couple more pictures on top of that one. And then you start to compare until you get the right thing, right? That's literally what it is. You know, if you go in and read some marketing books, things like that, Coca-Cola, that's literally what they do. They spend hundreds of millions of dollars for one idea for 30, 40, 50 years. Santa Claus. That's it. Mm-hmm. That's their marketing. Or a polar bear. That's it. That's their marketing. Everything is literally the same. State Farm. They barely changed their marketing. And now you're getting the State Farm guy, and he does the same thing, right? It's just progressive flow. We've had her around for how long? A decade?
Longer.
Yeah. That's what you have to do with the marketing side of things. It's not you change, but it's finding out what that is, and then you shove that down everybody's throats until they know who it is. Mm-hmm. You know, she cannot be replaced now, or it's going to take a very long time to replace her.
Yeah.
You know, because she's been around for so long. So she's has it made.
Yeah.
And Progressive is doing fine. You know, but they've created that as this is what we're going to go with, and now we're going to stay on that path for decades to come. But when it comes to service industry, big companies like that, you're not going after a small group of impulse buyers. You're going after a business owner that doesn't care about pest control. The restaurant that has our competitor doesn't want to think about switching pest control companies. Unless they suck, they don't want to switch. Mm-hmm. Or unless they're going to save money, they don't want to switch. Because why would I? Why would I pay you more money? I don't know who you are. I don't know what service you're going to provide. And I really don't want to think about it because I'm cooking right now.
Yeah. And I've had the same service for the past couple of years, and really issues have come up, you know?
Apartment complexes. If that's the same issue we run into, we go out, we're a better service, but they don't have an issue yet. Mm-hmm. So it's starting now, and then in hopes that they run into that issue, and then they're going to call us.
Yeah.
And then they start coming back. A group of apartments that we just took over in an area, it actually took us almost a year to get in, or 6 months to get in. We did some work for them, went away, followed up, nothing happened, followed up, nothing happened, followed up, nothing happened, followed up, nothing happened, followed up, nothing happened. And then finally they're like, okay, we're sick of this guy. He sucks. We have a ton of issues. He's not getting rid of them. His guys aren't showing up. They're just leaving. I mean, literally after thousands of dollars wasted on this other company, they finally said, okay, now we're going to come over. Mm-hmm. So be prepared for the long haul. Marketing, I don't think that's the way to do it, though. I'm going to say that personally. I don't think you're going to find anybody that way. Mm-hmm. Being the sales guy going into those places, you'll have more success than sending out a flyer, or an ad on Facebook, Instagram, internet, anything like that. Mm-hmm. I think you're better off going in and then talking to them, finding out what their needs are, one thing we've said on the podcast, and we love to say it, is what is your current company not doing that you would like them to do?
They're going to give you all the answers you want.
And then you can say, perfect. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. It's like dating somebody, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite color? Red? Oh, mine too.
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Mine too. Right? Like that's literally all you're doing. You're just doing it with an apartment complex or a restaurant or a hotel that have those needs. And you hit it too, right? What issues are they having? Can you provide all those services? Because you go in and they're like, we have a ton of bed bugs. And you're like, I can't do bed bugs. They're not going to choose you.
Yeah.
So are you covering everything to make sure you're in the grain industry right now? You know, you're kind of switching to a really different style.
Different beast.
Yeah. You know, so be prepared for that because you need a lot more skills than I just got to treat this silo full of grains. It's like, hey, there's a whole different approach to that now.
Yeah.
So I guess do some research on that.
Yeah. Yeah. And don't be afraid just to have those conversations either. And we've talked about it where people get this idea in their head, they have to have all the answers and be perfect. And sometimes when you go and ask some of these property managers or business owners, you know, what's something different that you'd want out of a pest control service? It could be something as easy as, I want to be able to pay my bill online, or I want, you know, my company to show up on time. And it's like, in my head, I'm like, that's it? You know, I'm like,
That's
done, easy. You know, so it's not always this like crazy laundry list of things. I mean, if it is and you're going to get paid for it, go after it if you're able to, obviously. But my point is just start having those conversations. You can't get to that next level if you're not going to take that first step and just talk to people, you know?
You're right. And the other thing is so many people are willing to help. You would be amazed when you sit down with someone and they say, hey, we're not switching. All you have to say is, that is totally fine. I'm new at this anyway. Can I ask you what they're doing and why you won't switch? And they're just going to start laying it out. I'm not going to try to switch you over anymore. I'm done. Sales guy's off. I'm coming to you humbly.
Help me.
Help me. I need you to help me. What are they doing so that I can go out and find other customers and grow this thing? You will be amazed at how many people tell you things and what you can do to better yourself and then move on, right? I was doing that. I was in the office. People call cancel. Why are you canceling? So that we can change and be better for the next customer. That's fine. You canceled. I get it. You're mad, whatever it is. We screwed up. Totally cool. What can I do better? What did I do wrong? What did we do wrong? And then they tell us, commercial properties. What did we do wrong? Sometimes they don't tell you. Sometimes they do. When you're not their customer, they're going to tell you everything because they have zero ties with you.
Of course, it doesn't matter.
They don't care. And they're looking at it as, holy crap, he wants my help. So they're going to help. So ask the questions. Become vulnerable. Go out there and figure it out. You're going to fail, and you're going to fail a lot, but that's the whole point. You can't come in. I just saw a video of the guy talking about doing something 1,000 times, right? Or doing it one perfect time. You know, that one hit wonder, you know, that some people have. Well, you didn't see that one hit wonder wasn't that first song that they've ever done in their entire life, right? They had about 10,000 other things that they failed at and songs that were terrible, and they just happened to get that one that made them really, really famous. And then they typically die after that because there's nothing else that comes. But people look for that is, I want that one hit wonder. I want that one time. I'm going to wait until that one opportunity comes up and I'm going to make it big. I'm going to win the lottery. You're probably not. You're probably going to spend thousands and thousands, maybe tens of thousands, or even up to hundreds of thousands of dollars buying tickets. And then you may win. And you're probably going to lose to a bunch of random ass people who decide to just go buy a ticket one time and they won.
Yeah.
Right? They could never do it again, but that's what typically happens is people want this. Hey, I want this. Just give me this one thing that's going to make everything better. And it's practice.
Yeah.
Routines, crash and burn, fail, do it over and over and over and over and over. All the experiences you gain from failing those thousands of times is going to make you better off anyway. And once you do finally hit it, it's not because you just found that one lucky thing. It's you've actually prepared for thousands and thousands of failures. That's how you got there. So no silver bullet, man. Sorry.
I hope it helped though.
I think it did. I think he's going to get it. He's going to understand it's put in the work, put in the time, and when to jump from your company, or from the company you work for to your company now, go back to the first question, right? Wait until your company is big enough to be able to focus on that. And he is younger, so he could do it this way too, which is smarter. Get someone in working those appointments for you while you're still working your normal job. And then just pay that guy through what you're, the jobs you're making. And then you can go out and focus on selling and growing and growing and growing, and then just hire on technicians if you're good at selling. If not, then you may have to be the tech.
Yeah.
You may want to hire a sales guy, and then you can be the tech guy on your off time and run it. So there's many ways to do it, but hopefully that helped.
That's good. No, really good questions. So thank you guys for submitting them to our Instagram and our email, through our website, dnapestpodcast.com. We had a really busy February. We're trying to put more things out there, stay consistent. We have a lot of good plans in March. But thank you again for listening to the DNA Pest Control Podcast.